First honey of 2022. Hey folks, welcome back to Jerome Bee Farm and Homestead. It is Saturday, July 9th, and today we're going to start extracting our honey. So we've got 23 supers out there, and most of them are completely full, which is the first year I've ever had that many boxes that were just completely filled up. So quite a deal. We may have a record-setting harvest this year, so stick around and see. We're going to have a guess the weight contest. So if you put your comment in the last video when I harvested it, that's okay, I've got that. Probably by the time this video posts, I will have hit 10,000 subscribers, that just blows me away. I so appreciate everyone that's followed me all these, the last 6 years making these videos. It's been quite a journey. If you go back and look at some of my first ones, man, they're not that good. I'd say the quality has improved over the years. So I'm going to get the first super in here and get it up here, and I'm going to do a moisture test. So we need to be between 15.5 and 18, somewhere in that range. And I'll show you my equipment and what we've got going on. I'm not going to get into the detailed assembly and all of that. So if you want to see that, go back into my honey extracting playlist, and you'll see me really get into a lot of detail about how I put together my extractor, lubricate the little bearing and all of that stuff. So I'm going to do a moisture check on each super, and if I find some that aren't within tolerance, I'll set them aside. And I'm running a dehumidifier over here in the corner. You can see it right there. And right now my humidity's, I got it set on 50%. We're at 53%, and it's 79 degrees in here. I've got the air conditioner running, which I am so thankful to have this little apartment down in our barn to do this in. So we built this little apartment and lived in this for 5 years, paying our debt down so we could build our house. And we've been in our house for a little over 2 years now. And man, it is good to have a house. This little thing is 600 square foot. So there's a bedroom, a restroom, kitchen, and then right by the camera is a little love seat, and then the TV is right there. So yeah, it was cozy, but it served its purpose. All right, without further ado, let me get the first honey super in here, get it set up, and we'll check the moisture content. Woo! Those dudes are heavy. Okay, I run 9 frames in my supers, so the bees will draw the sides out a little farther than the edge of the frame, and that makes it better for running a hot knife down. So I'll show you here in a second. I'll run my hot knife down across here, and this one actually looks a little narrow, but it'll get most of that, and it goes pretty fast. So let's get us a sample here right out of the middle of this. So this is a hive. This box came out of a hive in the woods, because they're on top because I forgot about the hive in the woods, and I had to go back that evening, the second day, and get these 3. So it had 3 on it, and they were all full. So I've got a refractometer here that's designed for honey. I'll put a link below, and I'll pin a comment with a link to this, because you can get the wrong one. I know, I had the wrong one. I didn't buy it, but I acquired it, and it was for making wine. So you put a little dab on there, you close this lid, make sure there's no air bubbles. So the honey's right on here, little thin layer. Close that. See, I've kind of pressed down, get the air bubbles out. And then we look through this little peephole, and it'll tell us what it is. And I am at, looks like 19.5, so that's a little high. So I'm going to grab another one. So that was from Capped Honey. And bees supposedly won't cap honey that will ferment because it's been reduced down from a moisture perspective. So that was the middle. Let's go over 2 frames. So if this one's high, we'll have to set this aside. This one is reading 18.5, so that's good. Let's go over 1 this direction, 2 this direction. Well, I need to clean this off. Got a little bit of air in there, so I need a little more honey on it. There we go. This one's about 18.6 as well. So that is borderline. Let me check one more. Actually, let me pull another test on this center frame, just to make sure. So right there's where I got the honey. Go down just a little ways from where I took that, about 3 inches. Okay. Now it's reading just over 18. So that's odd. Maybe just that first reading I didn't have something quite right, but I'll show you what I'm looking at here. So that scale right there. So now it's showing just under 18, appears to be. So it seems like I remember reading something about temperature of this thing. So maybe me handling it, it warmed it up a little bit, and then it came in. I don't know, but it's reading good now. So we're gonna go with that, and I will start the extractor, or the decapping process, and get it over there. Real quick on this refractometer, get the one that's in the blue case. That's the one for honey. The other one I had's in a gray case, and it doesn't look anything like, when you're looking through at the scales, they are way out of range of what honey should be measuring. So again, I'll put a link to this that you can pick it up. They don't cost that much. Okay, this is the decapping station. I got these, I've got 2 of them. I got these from Man Lake. It's 2 gray. They're pretty rigid. They're not like a tote. They're really strong. And it comes with this little wood crossbeam that you put on here. It just has a screw through it, so you can set your frame on and hold it, which that works really good. And we'll run our hot knife down it. And the cappings will fall in here on this screen. And that screen looks to me like a queen excluder. And then we'll empty it out here with this honey gate into a bucket down here when we're ready. But we keep this closed for the time being. And you do this last after you're done with all your cappings. So like I said, I do have 2 of these. The other one's over there. And what you'll find is this is the bottleneck operation of extracting, is decapping. That's what you'll spend most of your time doing. So I got another one just in case I had a helper. I could speed this up quite a bit. Okay, here we go. The first frame of 2022. So if you can't read that, I scratched in 2022 there. So this is a Man Lake, it's called the Speed Knife. And I stand on a little stool to do this so I can get up high, because this countertop is higher than normal. And it's not going to get it all because this frame is a little narrow in a few places. And I'll show you how we get that. Always have plenty of wet rags because you will be sticky. So come back on these with the This is called a capping scratcher. So you don't scratch with the scratcher, you go underneath and lift up like this. If you scratch it, you destroy the cells and the bees have to rebuild that. This comb will be reused next year on the hives. It will get stored and it will be safe from insects, and that will enable the bees to fill their supers like 3 times as fast if they had to build their comb from scratch. It takes, I don't remember the exact figures, but like 2 parts nectar to make the comb and 1 part nectar to fill it. So it takes a lot more resource and foraging to make the wax to build the comb with. So this will up your honey production. If you have a killer nectar flow, which I don't, it may not matter to you to do this. I don't sell comb honey for that fact. There are some years I don't get a whole lot of honey. Last year I barely broke 300 pounds. That sounds like a lot to some people, but with 30 hives, that was not much at all. But it was a bad year, weather-wise. Okay, let's do the other side now. So this one you'll see, it'll get this whole thing. This makes it so much faster when you don't have to stop and take care of a whole lot of stuff that didn't get covered. There are other methods of doing this. I prefer this way because when you extract your honey, there's not a lot of wax particles that fall off in the extractor and clog up your filter. There's a thing that it looks pretty neat, and I don't remember what it's called. You roll your frame down. It's got 2 rollers, kind of like an old washing machine wash roller thing, and has spikes in it, and it's on kind of rubber band mounted, and so you just roll your frame through it and right back out, and it punctures every single cell. It looks really cool, but what it does, it tears the comb up a little bit and leaves little particles. If it wasn't for those particles, I think I would like that thing. And I've seen Cayman Reynolds demonstrate it. It did look pretty cool. So I always have a taco plate handy to put your frame over, so when you transfer it over to your extractor, whoop. Yeah, I am being silly about the taco plate, which it really is a taco plate. But see all those droplets? That would have been on the floor. You can hold your hand under it, but you know, you'll have a sticky mess and you'll track it everywhere. So here's my extractor. Here's the brand name. Now I don't remember what the SAF, but I got this from Brushy Mountain, and Brushy Mountain's out of business, but I did see this on Blue Sky Bee Supply, and I'll try and put a link of that. So this is a 9-frame extractor, and doing this one-handed is a little tricky. There it went, I think. So you got to get it in the groove there and in the groove there, and when it starts spinning, it'll pop out into that groove there. So this is called a radial extractor because the frames are mounted radially, and it'll hold 9. So 3 in each one of these sections. For a deep frame, there's an insert you put in here, and you can only run 3 deep frames at a time and do them half and half. This particular frame wasn't capped all the way, but I did the shake test on it, and no nectar came out, no honey came out. See? So if it does that, it's thick enough, and the moisture content should be okay if you can do that. That's something you can do when you're harvesting your honey out in the field and you don't know whether or not you should take a frame out of the box or harvest the box. That's a quick way to make sure you're not taking it too early. So this was the outside frame. Okay, you can see our extractor is loaded up. Yeah, everyone's sitting in their groove. The top ones will sit back a little bit, and once it starts spinning, they'll go on out and lock in. Sometimes they don't always sit in there perfectly. So let's get it to spinning. So this extractor has a safety feature on it. It's got a safety switch there. It won't turn on unless your lid's shut. And you can spin it in either directions by controlling it with this little lever here. I'm starting it real slow. You can crank it up hard if you want to, but I always just turn it on nice and easy. It's variable speed right here. So if it's a little bit out of balance, it'll wobble, which is not too bad on this run here. And that's a good speed right there when they're this full. You don't want to crank it up very fast. As the weight empties out, it'll actually speed up a little bit on its own. First honey of 2022. And that's what it looks like when they come out. All empty. It's glistening with a, These are called wet frames, but all the honey's out of there. There's a few little ones that didn't get opened up. So the hives I had that were 2 and 3 high on supers, I will put one back on those and to collect a little bit of the fall flow. The rest of them, I won't mess with them. So those stronger hives, they'll be able to put some in these. So, but the bad thing about doing that is when you treat for oxalic acid for the mites, you got to take this off or put a barrier underneath your super while your vapors are in there. So now we'll bring the next one in and we'll do this process until our bucket's full, and then we'll put a lid on the bucket. Let me show you this real quick. So this is a 2-stage screen filter. One sits on top of the other. So that's a really fine mesh down in there. So you don't want to filter your honey super fine. For one thing, it won't flow through it unless you pressurize it or heat it. And you want pure raw honey, lightly filtered, and that's what this is. So you can see the honey down there below. We got, it's to right there, so almost half. If I tilted this forward, it would probably be a half, and that super wasn't completely packed full. So normally you'll get a little over a half to 2/3 of a bucket per super. So I will show these buckets as I weigh them, and we'll tally up the total weight. Bucket number 1. $48.6. $52.2. Bucket 3. $51.6. Bucket 4. $50.6. Bucket 5, $52.6. Bucket 6, $51.4. Bucket 7, $51.8. Bucket 8, $51.2. Okay, I'm going to pull some off of this cappings tank here. It's getting pretty full, and we've got 10 more supers out there to go, and we just finished bucket 8. So looks like we're going to finish around 600 to 650 pounds, which is not going to beat the record, but it's going to be pretty close. I don't know, I wasn't counting a whole lot of this cappings honey, but there may be quite a bit in here. I did clean my strainer once. So it is 11:40 p.m. So in 20 minutes I will have going 12 hours at this. I'm getting pretty tired. I was hoping I could get it done, but don't look like it's going to happen. Bucket 9. 53 even. Bucket 10, the last one tonight. 52.6. Well, welcome to day 2. So I think there's 6 boxes left. So I worked last night till about 1:30 a.m. So it's about 1 o'clock the next day, and got a little bit of rest. And man, I am wore out. So let's get going on those and let's get this finished off. Bucket 11, half a bucket 11 has come off the second pull of the capping tank. 52.4. Okay, I went ahead and I started another cappings tank because the other one was so full. So this one's empty. And I pulled about 2.5 gallons off that to fill off that last bucket. So let me show you my cappings out here. There's the tower of empties. And here's what we got left. 1, 2, 3, 4. And here is the full cappings tank. Man, look at all that. So I did stir it up again. Looks like most of it went out. Something I did different this year, when I uncapped that and you got that big long roll of wax, I sliced it down the middle and chopped it up with my hot knife so these particles are smaller and honey is less likely to get trapped up there. And I think that worked a lot better. So bringing it on out here in this garage, it's hot out here. It gets up to, I bet it's 100 degrees in here easy. That'll help that honey flowing out of there. I'll probably take one more pull off of that.
Change overnight. You got this shit. Go get it. Hey, best look out there, man.
Bucket 12. 51.8. 13. 52.2. Okay, so bucket 14. This is the last bucket off the extractor, and this one here has, well, this is empty, but there's a little bit left in the extractor. I'll probably pull 2 more pulls off of that big cappings tank through the week. I keep it out there on the other side of the wall where it's good and hot out there. And I've got this cappings extractor that's about 1/3 full, and I haven't taken any off of it yet. So yeah, 14 buckets. So the first day was 13.5 hours. I worked till 1:30 in the morning. And today I started about 1, and I think it's about 6 o'clock now. So man, I am wore out. This has been a rough weekend, but it's good to get it done and get it behind me. I'll just have to do these little pulls off these cappings, and there won't be nothing to that. That's easy. I'm guessing we'll have 1/2 to 3/4 more bucket off of the remainder, but we'll see. 14 times 50, so you know, it's going to be close to the record of 730 pounds, but I don't know. It's going to be close. We'll just have to wait and see. So let's get this weighed, and then we'll go outside and we'll see all the buckets. 53.8. Okay, so here's the last super. The frames are in the extractor. And I scraped some of that burr-comb off in this and put it in there. So yeah, this is filled about 1/3 of the way up. So we'll extract off of this here in a little bit, or drain it, not extract it. Let's go out in the garage. So yeah, there's the last frames. Boy, that last super, it was full, and I weighed it. It was 65 pounds. So I was guessing they were 80. I was way off, but man, they sure feel heavier than that. So yeah, we need to go ahead and drain this off. So my bucket got full, so I had to stop. And we'll tilt this forward and get the most of it out of there. Let's head outside here. So there's all the supers we extracted. And it's a funny thing, this middle stack, I opened it up, a lot of bees came out. I was like, man, how did they all get in there? Well, what I found was one of them had a brood frame in it. Somehow the queen got by the goalie and got up there and laid a half a frame of brood, and it was in there emerging. So there we got 6 stacked there. And over here we got 8. And I stacked those 3 high. Man, I hate to do that, but these are sturdy buckets. I'll show you the bottom of the bucket here in a minute. But yeah, there they all are. There's that. I had to get my blower back out to blow that one out again. So these buckets here are heavy duty buckets. I get them on Amazon, and I'll put a link below. These are far sturdier than the ones you buy at Lowe's. Lowe's has food grade buckets. You can buy them there all day long, but they're like 62 mil. That's the thickness. And look at this, 90 mil. So these are definitely heavy duty buckets, and they're made by Berry Plastics. And there's a phone number, and berryplastics.com. You might be able to order them right off of their website, but I get them on Amazon and shipped to me. They're, I think, about 60 bucks for 5, or is it 6? I think there's 6 in a box. So it's not a bad deal, and they ship them right to you. So that's what I use. I had a bucket blow out on me. You can look at my extraction video from 2-3 years ago, and you'll see I had a bucket blow out. It cracked. It cracked from side to side. A crack right across there, and this whole floor was covered with honey. And my wife came and scooped it all up with a big old spatula and spoon and put it in some jars, and we ate it. So yeah, before we ever start working on the honey in here, we clean every surface, wipe the floor down, mop it, and it's spick and span. So yeah, scooping that off the floor, that was really not a big deal. But yeah, we didn't sell that honey, but we kept it for personal use, and it was just fine. A little crunchy, but it was okay. Not really. That's it. I hope you enjoyed this year's honey extraction video. It gets a little monotonous year after year, so I did this one a little different. Just tried to speed it up and just show you the buckets mainly and one super. So that is it. Give me a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe on your way out, and I'm going to go take a nap. We'll catch you all in the next beekeeping video. Y'all take care. First honey of 2022.